I used to struggle with my mental health. I was diagnosed with depression when I was a teenager, anxiety when I was in college. I was prescribed antidepressants, anti-anxiety, sleep medication. And I am so glad that I listened to my inner instinct within a year and a half, 2 years, that told me I don't want to be on drugs for the rest of my life. I want to actually learn how to feel fulfilled, how to feel happy, how to feel connected to other people without going inside my brain in circles, producing these experiences of anxiety and constant worry and constant judgment of myself. So I wanted to share what worked for me. I want to share some of the things that have really helped me in my life with my mental health. And if this is something that you struggle with, I hope that this serves you, because there is a way out. There is a way to greater peace. It's going to take something, but there is a way. So, dance. Dance has been a powerful, powerful tool and joy in my life. One of the reasons why is that dance has allowed me to actually feel my body and to feel the joy of being in my body beyond what it looked like, beyond the judgments that I had, beyond even the judgments that other people had. I used to get so worried about what other people thought of me. I was a heavy girl when I was in elementary, middle school, and high school. I lost a lot of weight, gained it back in college. I always felt scared that people were judging me, but really I was the one who was judging me. And so when I began to go to dance classes and let those conversations arise in my mind for how weird I must look or what other people are thinking of me, it was by continuing to show up for the classes and proving to myself, hey, I get to be here. Same thing with fitness classes, same thing with going to the gym. I used to feel terrified about going to the gym and scared that people were judging me. And I went and I went again and I went again and I went again to prove to myself, oh, like I get to be here. I get to do this. And to experience my body, the joy of being in my body, doing different kinds of physical activities. So dance, physical activity. But another thing about dance is there's something about connecting to a higher power, to the whole of nature, to like really seeing and experiencing myself as one expression of creation. So that dance can be a form of meditation. It can be a form of devotion to something higher than oneself. That has been so powerful for me. Not to mention finding dance community. Ecstatic dance is a kind of dance that happens all over the world. It is something that grew out of Hawaii and California, I want to say early 2000s, and it is a dance space that you come to, no shoes, no talking, no phones on the dance floor. It is just for the dance. Now, I went to an ecstatic dance when I lived in Austin years ago, but when I went to my first one in New York City in 2019, I admit that I felt so intimidated at first. I walked in and people were so free in their bodies, so self-expressed. I mean, this is the kind of room of people that other people who don't feel so comfortable with themselves could absolutely look in that room and think, wow, these people are really weird. Oh, they must be hippies, right? When really it's a room of people who care about connecting with their own bodies. So they happen all over the world. The community has grown so much. There's often ecstatic dance at festivals and burns, which are regional gatherings of people who are part of the Burning Man community. The point is that you can find them if you search ecstatic dance and then your city or the city closest to you. Highly recommend. I wish I found this community sooner. It has been absolutely life-changing for me. And Similarly, the electronic dance music scene has been so beautiful to step into, to again dance and experience the joy of music, but also the community. There are so many spaces in the world of electronic music that are just so welcoming, and people are just so kind to each other, and they give each other little trinkets and gifts at shows and concerts and festivals. And there's something that is just feels so loving, right? And there's something magical about being on a dance floor and being in a collective frequency of people. Now, I know like people who are on the same wavelength together, I should say. So I know that there are some people who criticize modern dance floors and talk about everyone having their phones out. You know, it's just not true everywhere you go. If that's true in the nightclubs that you're going to, I highly recommend seeking out music venues that are really aiming to book artists. They're not just looking to sell drinks, right? I mean, every venue is, but like venues that really seek to promote electronic music artists. Okay. Be willing to go out and meet people. Be willing to go out by yourself. This is something else that has been so powerful for me. I still, to this day, have people shocked when I go out by myself. And I'm telling you, it is one of the things that has strengthened me the most mentally, emotionally, psychologically, to go out by myself and realize over and over and over again, oh, wow, I'm actually safe to be here. Oh, wow, I can actually socialize with people. Over time, I learned how to be more confident. I learned how to be more charismatic in social situations just by lighting up, and when I talk to people, just by being really interested in them, by being receptive to their energy, by learning how to say no if someone in, for example, in a dance space wants to dance with me and I don't want to, just being really comfortable saying no and saying no with grace. All of these social skills have done wonders for my mental health and wellness, because my experience and what I've witnessed in so many people is that a lot of mental health struggles stem from people not feeling able to socialize in a way that has them feel good about themselves. But what I have found is the only way to learn how to socialize and how to develop that confidence is by doing the thing. It's by doing it and giving yourself grace. If you say something and it sounds weird, giving yourself and other people grace. If you have some awkward interactions, or if someone feels offended that you don't want to dance with them, you prove to yourself over time, wow, I'm okay. The worst did not happen, or the worst did happen and I survived it. Right? I can laugh now, but I used to be so immersed in thoughts of judgment toward myself, toward other people. I used to feel so afraid. And it is so freeing to be able to be myself in the world, to be able to be expressed in the world. And this leads me into another thing that has been incredible for my mental health, that is for anyone, which is friendships. The way that we create friendships is by going out, is by being courageous, is by meeting people, which, yes, out in the world, also online, being connected to people in different online communities and actually meeting up with them in person, but meeting other humans with whom you resonate, going to places where you meet people with shared interests, whether that is anime or Dungeons and Dragons or video games or sports or fashion or education. is so much happening in the world, y'all. Simple little tip here, go on Eventbrite, go to meetup.com, go seek out places that you can find events to just go and try something new. There's things all over Instagram promoting all kinds of events, right? Be willing to accept the invitation, whether it comes up in an ad or if someone in your life extends one to you. When you're willing to accept invitations, it leads to friendships. And having a strong social network, and especially having intimate friendships, has done wonders for my mental health over the years. A side note of this is also recognizing when to say no, when to back away from certain relationships that you know are not healthy for you, that you know are with people who are not interested in uplifting you and supporting you, right? And being willing to trust that even if you feel a little lonely for a little while, that's so normal. But there are people out there who want to be a good friend to you. And when you go and be a good friend to other people, maintaining your boundaries, maintaining your values, maintaining your standards, but go be friendly. Begin by being friendly, right? You open the door for friendships to come in, and over time, the more time you spend with a person, you deepen intimacy with these people. Learn how to have repair conversations when things get challenging or when there's hurt that happens, right? Which happens in relationships. Learn how to say I'm sorry. Learn how to speak up about how you feel about something if something hurt you. Be an attuned individual. Ask people how they are, right? Developing these social skills and then deepening our friendships. It is so important, and it is part of a person's spiritual wellness as well, which brings me to my next point, which is have a spiritual life. Have a life that feels enriched by your connection to the divine, your connection to a higher power. If you're someone who really struggles with mental health and maybe some kind of addiction, find a 12-step program. I really encourage you to find a 12-step program and be willing to go. You don't even have to speak other than sharing your name. And even if you didn't want to share your name, you don't really have to do that. You can say pass. But it's one community in which you can begin to plug into the sense that there is a higher power, right? Without it being specifically religious. You can also find a church or a synagogue or some kind of spiritual space to feel your connectedness to something that is beyond yourself. Because what I see is that so much of the mental health crisis is actually also inevitably a spiritual health crisis. If a person can feel a connection to something greater than themselves, a person can get more deeply connected to their sense of purpose, their sense of inherent value. And that has done so much for my mental health, emotional health, psychological health, to experience God as a God who loves me. Way before I read the Bible, I was in the self-help section. I was in the spirituality section of bookstores. There are so many resources available to help you tap into a spiritual life that feels good for you. Know that you deserve that. Know that that soul nourishment is important. It's important. It is deserving of your time and your attention. And that leads me to my next point, which is us being right here on this wonderful wild west called the internet, YouTube, social media. People complain about social media. People talk about the hate on social media and on YouTube comments and everything. But I invite you to really pay attention to how much love there is, how many people are creating content to be in service to people's lives, in service to people's wellness, in service to people's health. One of the best things I've done for my mental health is really pay attention to those people that I felt were really resonant with me, like their voice, their platform, what it is they speak about, right? And if I come across somebody who I don't quite resonate with, I just move along. I don't add to the hate. I don't leave comments that are expressing my upset. I simply move along and give my attention and time to a person whose wisdom I resonate with. And it is such a big playing field. Find creators and speakers and thinkers and writers and artists that share messages of positivity and good health and good relationships, especially if you're someone who has grown up in an environment where you didn't have that modeling. It's so important to give yourself the role models that you didn't have. This has been necessary for me to develop a good sense of mental health and wellness. And if you are someone who wants to contribute to the conversation, certainly don't force yourself. But if you are willing to put yourself into the arena and to share messages of hope or your honest story and testimony, the things that you struggle with, the things that you know about whatever it is that you are interested in, whatever expertise you have, whatever experience you have, this is a playing field that you get to come to. And by doing that, you open yourself up to meeting and being found by people who are a resonant match for you. And if this is not your thing, find something that is. I have done so many things in my life because I said so. I wanted to start traveling. I finally was able to book my first plane ticket out of the country at 31 years old. I've been to 12 countries now. I have moved halfway across the country several times. I have gone to so many classes, so many lectures. I've signed up for personal development seminars. I've done different kinds of therapies. I have been to so many movement and dance and yoga and Pilates. I've gone to theater, to theaters, to free theaters in the park, free Shakespeare in the park. Like, this world is so filled with things waiting for you to say yes. I think so much of mental health, mental wellness is in the things that we are willing to say yes to, the things that we are willing to say no to. And so if you are in a spiral of self flagellation, being willing to say no, being willing to cycle through whatever you're feeling, be with your feelings, massively important for mental health. Let your emotions, your feelings be there. And like to not wallow, to choose something else, to go for a walk, to call a friend, right? To sing, to play an instrument, to play a game, to write, to do something to activate the creative faculty of your mind. Our minds like having something to do. When we give them something good and healthy to do, and we do that over and over and over again, that is what leads us to setting a foundation for a good life, and a life where we get to experience positive mental health. I am so glad that I trusted myself, that I wasn't always going to have this diagnosis of depression. I wasn't always going to have this diagnosis of anxiety. I am not a medical professional. This is just me sharing my experience. Your experience will be your own. And I just want to empower you with the knowledge that you are capable of so much more than you think you are. Be willing to begin by saying yes to yourself and to your joy and your peace and your fulfillment. Even if it feels like those things are so far away, be willing to claim it. First and foremost, that this is possible for you. Tell yourself, this is possible for me. And be willing to take the small steps each day in the direction of things that you know are good for you. You do that long enough, and over time, it will lead you into a good life. And that is my prayer for you, that you recognize and realize the power that you have to create a life that sings and that feels so fulfilling for you. So, sending you so much love. I hope this was of service. Have a beautiful day, evening, afternoon.